boxing history is about to be made. Undisputed super middleweight King Canelo Alvarez will face pound-for-pound legend Terence Crawford in September 2025, with Crawford jumping 2 weight classes for the ultimate challenge. To adjust to the demands of the super middleweight division, Crawford has been sparring with undefeated super middleweight Lester Martinez, who is recognized for his knockout power. This tactical approach is designed to help Crawford adapt to the physicality and strength of Alvarez. Even while moving up in weight, Crawford maintains his confidence, stating, "He's not a machine, he bleeds like I do," underscoring his belief that he can compete effectively in this higher weight class. While many experts in the boxing community have questioned Crawford's ability to make such a significant jump in weight, Bud has been adamant on his stance, stating that "I've been doubted my whole career. With all of the negative things that have been said about Terence Crawford along the way, they never thought that I would be in this place that I am now." Furthermore, Crawford has made it clear that he's accustomed to being the underdog and is prepared to prove his doubters wrong yet again. "But I did. It's funny to say, but I have been hearing this my whole career. I'm too small for this guy. This guy is too strong. This guy punches too hard. I don't have a chin. Or I am this, or I am that." He added, "I just take it all in and laugh. People who have negative thoughts of me have never been in the ring before. It doesn't even bother me. Haters are undercover fans. Once I did get my hands on Spence, Sean Porter, and Kell Brook, they said I got them late and bruised up. There was always an excuse. Certain groups in boxing thought these guys were going to beat me." In an interview with Manuka Kopian, the former undisputed welterweight champion and current World Boxing Organization (WBO) super welterweight champion analyzed the fight with Canelo. "I don't have to knock him out, I just have to beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. When I analyze it, he's a little big guy coming up through the weight classes. These bigger, slower guys might hit him, but he sees it as an afterthought." Crawford explained. Crawford, who comes from 2 lower weight classes, assures that his size and speed will work in his favor in the fight. Explaining his narrative, Bud said, "I come from a lower weight class that is faster and more precise. If he gets hit with a direct blow that he doesn't see, he can get hurt. He's not a machine. He's human like me. He bleeds like me." Terence, while not ruling out a knockout, won't go in with that in mind. His tactic will be to wear him down, something that can be much more effective coming from a lower weight class. "I won't go in thinking I can't hurt him, but I also won't go in thinking I'll try to knock him out. I'm going to fight my fight, and if a knockout comes, then of course I'll take it," the American concluded. The Kazakh's former trainer, Abel Sanchez, has been very critical of this fight due to the weight difference between the 2 boxers. "The fight he has after Skull seems ridiculous to me. They're 2 completely different people. Canelo has taken punches from big guys, and no one has hurt him, so I don't think this fight should happen," Sanchez told Boxing News. "I've said it from the beginning, but the money is there for both of us, so it's going to happen. Even though it's not a fight I'd pay to see," Abel opened. He also sees a clear victory for the Mexican and doesn't think it will be competitive as his advantage is so large. "I think Canelo is going to stop him, and it's not because Terence doesn't have talent. Terence is a skilled fighter, but we're talking about a big man used to fighting other greats. Eventually he'll catch Crawford, punish him, and hurt him," he concluded. The path to finalizing this bout experienced twists and turns. Initial reports in February 2025 suggested that negotiations had stalled, with Alvarez exploring alternative opponents, including Jake Paul. However, by late March, Alvarez secured a 4-fight deal with Saudi Arabia's Turki Al Sheikh, bringing the Crawford fight back on track for September. The bout's scheduling coincides with UFC 320, announced by Dana White, to take place on September 13th at Arena Guadalajara in Mexico. This scheduling sets up a direct competition between 2 major combat sports events, potentially impacting viewership and pay-per-view sales. Boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya has weighed in on the matchup, suggesting that one fighter stands on the brink of greatness, though opinions vary on who holds the advantage. Analysts are divided, with some citing Alvarez's experience at higher weight classes as a significant factor, while others point to Crawford's technical prowess and adaptability. In an interview with Brian Mazik, De La Hoya acknowledged the magnitude of what Crawford could accomplish. "If Crawford can do it, Jesus Lord. I mean, give this man the title of being the greatest ever, but I just don't see it. Canelo is a big puncher. Yeah, he walks on quicksand, and that's one thing Crawford can use against him, but the pressure of the heavier guy, Canelo will be 200 pounds in that ring. It's a tough fight, but look, I give all the credit to Crawford. If he pulls it off, he'll be the messiah of fighters. De La Hoya's statement about Crawford becoming the messiah of fighters if he succeeds underscores the enormity of this challenge. A major concern for Crawford, however, is that he is stepping up to fight a naturally bigger and stronger opponent in Canelo. Many believe that if Canelo fights the wrong fight, meaning if he underestimates Crawford's speed and technical ability, he could end up on the losing side. However, if Canelo fights smart and leverages his power, the bout could be extremely challenging for Crawford. Roy Jones Jr. in a recent interview told Terence how to beat Canelo.
Bud, Canelo, you know, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it can go either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that runs in weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle a weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If he get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
One of the biggest concerns experts have about Crawford's upcoming fight against Canelo is his tendency to engage in unnecessary exchanges. In a recent interview, Tim Bradley recalled a moment when Crawford admitted that he sometimes fights for the crowd rather than sticking to a disciplined game plan. This was evident in his fight against Egidijus Green Machine Kavaliauskas, where Crawford took more risks than necessary, even getting knocked down, something that had never happened before in his career.
I had talked to Terence about this a few months back. And I asked him, I said, have you ever found yourself in a fight where you got caught up in fighting for the crowd and what they were talking about? He said, it happens to all of us, you know, and I believe he said it happened to him when he fought Green Machine.
Yeah.
And I swear, it was so crazy when I heard him say that, because I'm watching that fight and I'm like, Terence is trading with this dude way more than he has to.
Analysts believe that if he falls into the same pattern against Canelo, it could be disastrous. Canelo is naturally bigger, stronger, and highly experienced in handling fighters moving up in weight. If Crawford gets lured into trading shots instead of utilizing his movement and counterpunching skills, he could find himself in serious trouble. Canelo has been competing at super middleweight and light heavyweight for years, making him fully acclimated to the power and endurance needed in these divisions. Crawford, on the other hand, has spent most of his career in much lighter weight classes. While his skills are undeniable, he will have to fight with extreme discipline to avoid getting drawn into a physical war with Canelo. Crawford's mentality of proving his toughness could be his biggest downfall in this fight. He has the tools to win, but only if he fights smart and avoids unnecessary risks.
Terence never touched the canvas. That was his first time. And it also comes with the fact that Terence is just, that's his mentality. It's tough. A little bit of me moving forward, that's what scares me about the Canelo fight, to be honest with you.
Crawford's decision to move up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo at 168 pounds is one of the boldest moves in boxing. Shakur Stevenson, speaking on the Ring Magazine podcast, isn't surprised. He predicted years ago that Crawford had the skills to beat Canelo. Stevenson highlights Crawford's versatility, particularly his ability to switch stances, as a major advantage. He notes that Canelo has struggled with southpaws in the past, including John Ryder, and believes Crawford's sharp boxing IQ could expose weaknesses in the Mexican champion's style. Canelo, known for his granite chin and devastating counterpunching, has absorbed shots from much bigger fighters. Stevenson acknowledges this, but argues that Crawford has the ability to hurt even heavyweights in sparring. If Crawford lets his hands go and utilizes his speed and footwork, Stevenson believes he has a real chance at victory.
Why did you believe then that was the right fight?
Because I just knew, like, as far as in that weight class, Terence Crawford is like the greatest. So I just feel as though with Canelo's style and like the style of boxing that he got, I think and this is before Bivol did it, but I thought like Terence Crawford was the only guy who I felt as though could have beat Canelo with his style.
Regardless of the outcome, Stevenson respects Crawford's willingness to take such a high-risk fight. Many fighters would have stayed in their comfort zone, but Crawford's move proves his hunger for greatness. If he can overcome Canelo's power and experience, it would solidify his legacy as one of the all-time greats.
Well, if he throws the right, that's what I'm saying. Like if Bud lets his hands go, then
It ain't just the right.
well, Canelo's also got a great chin too. Like
I mean,
we've seen him hit by a lot of big guys.
I get you. I'm just saying, when Bud hit him, is he just gonna walk forward and take the punches? Like, I just don't know.
Promoter Bob Arum says Terence Crawford's ability to switch hit will befuddle Canelo Alvarez in September, and he predicts that his former fighter will defeat the Mexican superstar. I like Crawford in that fight. I think he's a better talent, better athlete, better boxer, and I just think he's gonna win that fight, said promoter Bob Arum to Sean Zittel, predicting Terence Crawford will defeat WBA, WBC, and WBO super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez if they fight on September 13th. Also, Crawford has a rare ability of being ambidextrous and switching from southpaw to orthodox as the fight goes on. That's going to befuddle Canelo. Like most fighters, he's not dealt with that kind of opponent. I think that's what made it such an easy fight with Spence. He was totally befuddled, said Bob Arum. Terence Crawford says he feels the media is dismissing his chance of beating Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight like they did when he fought Errol Spence. Crawford claims that it's never been done before, where a great fighter moved up 2 divisions to defeat a great world champion. If successful, Crawford would achieve what even Mayweather avoided, dethroning a prime Canelo in his division. But one punch from Alvarez could turn this dream into a cautionary tale about ambition outweighing reality.